All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about how do we find the vertex again. So this is our second day talking about this, so I do think that you have a little bit of familiarity with it, but I wanted to practice it to really deepen some of these skills because we're going to start using this a lot. So remember, to find the vertex, we take advantage of this special formula over here. We call it the vertex formula. And what this formula tells us is this tells us the x-coordinate of the vertex. So our general rule of thumb is we are going to take our A, B's, and C's from here, and we're going to plug them in. And as soon as we do that, this formula is going to spit out a number. That number is going to be the first number in your vertex. Now, to get the second number, what you're going to do, and this is always the part that kind of messes with kids, you take this and you plug it back in the two places where you see an X. Now, we've been using our calculator to make sure we've been accurate. But when we do this and we punch it in and we finally hit enter, we get another number out, and that number becomes the y-coordinate of our vertex, and we're done. So let's go through this process here. Here it is. Let's use our actual numbers as we go. So in this problem, we see that A has to be 1, B is going to be a positive 2, and C is going to be a negative 3. Now our formula, just like it always has been, is negative B over 2A. So we're going to take our B value, we're going to plug it in. With that negative in front, now it's a negative 2 over 2 times A, which is 1. So I'm going to have a negative 2 over 2. Negative 2 over 2 is, of course, just a negative 1. And that is the x-coordinate of our vertex. So we want to take that x-coordinate now, and we want to plug it back in. So up in our original, I've been telling kids all along, let's put our parentheses on and around it. And then in those parentheses, we're going to put whatever we know x is equal to, which in this case is negative 1. So let's type that in on our calculator. So we're going to type it in exactly like we see it. So we got the 1 out front, and then we have our parentheses. Inside those parentheses, we're putting negative 1 right here. And that, of course, is being squared. So we're squaring that just like so. Then we are going to add. We're adding to that 2 parentheses, and in that parenthesis again, whoops, hit the wrong button, goes a negative 1. So we've taken care of this part, and then last but not least, we need to subtract. Use the minus button, 3. When you do that, you should get a negative 4 that comes out, and that negative 4 is the y-coordinate of our vertex. That is what we just found. We found our vertex. Nice job. Let's look at a couple more problems together. I'm going to try to pick the toughest, gnarliest looking ones I see here so you get practice with the hard ones so you can do the easy ones when you get there. So let's look at this one. This one has the biggest number, so I look at it as one of the harder ones for sure. Always start by listing out A, B, and C. It looks like A is negative 3, B, positive 18, C, negative 31. Coming on over, negative B over 2A. Take your B value, it's a positive 18. When I plug it in, it's going to become a negative 18. Take our A value, it's negative 3. It's going to go right there. So 2 times negative 3. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Our calculator will help us if we need it. And then last but not least, negative 18 divided by a negative 6 equals a positive 3. Now that positive 3 is the x-coordinate of our vertex. To find the y-coordinate, we want to take 3 and plug it in. So coming on over, let's put our parentheses around wherever we see the x. And inside those parentheses, we're going to be putting a 3 when we type it in. So coming up to our calculator, here we go. We have a negative 3, parenthesis 3, close it off, square it. This part has been entered into our calculator. Now it's a positive 18 times 3, so plus 18, parenthesis 3. And then we need a minus 31 right there. And when you hit enter, look at that. We get negative 4. So negative 4 is the y-coordinate of that vertex. And we are done. What other problems do we got that look hard? Oh my gosh, how about the one below it? This one looks kind of like a doozy. So looking at this one again, start by listing out those values. What is A, what is B, and what is C? You know up here, if you don't see a number, you can put that 1. So I'm going to have a negative 1 here. I'm going to have a positive 8 here. and I'm going to have negative 19 down there. Now, when I do this, the formula always remains the same, guys. Negative b over 2a. So our b value was a positive 8. When I plug it in, it's going to become negative 8. On the bottom, 2 times a was negative 1. So let's put negative 1 where a was. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So we get a negative 8 up top. Negative 8 divided by negative 2 is a positive 4. So coming on over, we get a positive 4, just like that. Nice job. That 4 is the x-coordinate of our vertex. To get the y-coordinate, we need to take 4 and plug it back in wherever we see an x. So I always tell my kids, come up here, draw in those parentheses so you don't miss them. What am I plugging in? I'm plugging in a 4. So I'm going to put a 4 there and a 4 there. So I'm going to have negative 1, parenthesis, 4 to the second power, plus 8, parenthesis, 4, and then minus 19. When I do that, I get a negative 3 that comes out. So I get negative 3 that goes right there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my vertex. Do I see any other problems here that are just too darn hard? Honestly, I don't think so. I think you guys are going to handle this pretty darn well. I'm going to leave it there. There are more problems here to practice if you want to practice more before you get to your homework. And then your homework's down here. There's 10 problems. Again, we want you to get really good at these skills. So if you're struggling with this at all, just make sure you're reaching out and letting me know. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.